All right, good morning. So today is my twin boys' 21st birthday. One of them, as you know, is deployed. For the son that is here, we are going to a restaurant that he enjoys, and I am making a Heath bar cake. I've always made this with a box cake. I'm attempting homemade today. So I have a recipe, a Pinterest recipe pulled up, and I'm gonna follow that as closely as I can. I already know that there's one thing I'm gonna be substituting out. It calls for milk, but it does say any sort of milk. So all I have on hand is almond milk. So that is what I'm gonna be using. Let's get on this. I have my two 9-inch round pans. This typically is made in a cake pan. A couple of years ago I made this and I made a layered cake. It was delicious and it was very pretty. So I'm gonna do that again today. So I have two 9-inch round pans. I do not have them sprayed yet, but once I get the batter put together, I will spray them and flour them just to be sure that these cakes don't stick. So I've got my flour, I've got cocoa, I have sugar, flour, sugar, cocoa, baking powder, baking soda, salt, in a large bowl. Also, I'm gonna sift these in just to kind of help keep things light. That did not work out like I thought. My measuring cups are not fitting. This is a half cup and it will work. So that's 1 cup. I'm gonna sift it. Should be sure we don't have any clumps. 1 cup in. So that's our flour in. Then we need 2 cups of sugar. Mix 2 cups of sugar. So we need 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. I did fill in my dry canning video. I did can 2 half gallons, so I have a gallon's worth of sealed cocoa powder, but I had this one left over and it hadn't even been opened yet. So I'm tearing into that before I break the seal on those jars. So I need 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. And I'm just gonna put it right into the sift. All right, so we're doing 2 teaspoons of baking powder. See, this one I'm gonna have to pop the top. I blurred that. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Get my vacuum sealer out and reseal that. 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using a good quality salt. This one is Redmond Real Salt. Okay, those are our dry ingredients. So I am going to sift these items. I'm going to whisk these together slowly. So we are getting ready to add in our wet ingredient and milk. I need 1/2 cup of oil. I'm just going to use avocado oil. It's a mild flavored oil. 2 eggs. I'm going to do the water test on these just to be sure. These are some garlics. I think I forgot to show you guys. I got these this past weekend at my daughter's house. We went to the farmer's market. I got 1 elephant garlic and then I got 4 just regular garlic. So I'm thinking about saving these to be my garlic seeds that are going to go in the ground this fall. Okay, this is floating. That is a floating egg. That is not a good egg. I'm probably gonna go ahead and just crack it, take the insides out, save the shell for a source of calcium for our garden. I'm gonna get my homemade vanilla. Homemade vanilla. Don't let that scare you. The only thing you need to make homemade vanilla is some vodka and vanilla beans. That's all you need, and you can do it yourself. As expensive as pure vanilla is at Walmart, you're doing way better. It smells so good. So we have our milk, our oil, our eggs, our vanilla, and we're gonna need 1 cup of boiling water. All right, just as an extra precaution, I'm gonna crack these eggs separately just to be sure that they're good. They look good and that there's nothing that smells bad. Go back to our directions now. Whisk in the milk, oil, eggs, and vanilla till smooth. Stir in the boiling water till smooth. Let me go back up to my measurements. We're gonna add 1 cup of milk. We are adding a half of a cup of oil. 2 eggs. No smell. It's better to just be safe, just in case you don't ruin your whole batch of batter. All right, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Give it a little extra shot. We are just whisking this until it is smooth. While that's working, I'm going to put these things away. So I will vacuum seal this again, but because I'm already in the middle of a couple of different projects, I'm just going to put a ring on it, tighten it up, and on a day that I have a few extra minutes, I will pull my vacuum sealer back out and I will reseal that. Not a big deal. So while I'm sitting here, I'm just going to keep testing my eggs. A few of these have been sitting here for a couple of weeks now. I really need to stop wasting them and start making some oatmeal, some sort of an egg souffle, something to use these instead of letting them go to waste. All right, that looks really nice. I'm just going to let this water come to a boil. We have a floater. Damn, that's such a pretty color. Isn't that beautiful? We're gonna put the sinkers back into the bowl, and I am going to do something with these. I may do a baked oatmeal or something that I can freeze, just use it when we need it. Because I am ashamed to say that I have wasted 9 eggs. 9 eggs have gone to waste. That is not good. So I'm just gonna crack them in the sink, let the yolks go down. Put all of the shells in this mason jar. I'm gonna fill them with water and just kind of let them get good and clean. I'll lay them out to dry, and then I will pulverize them in my blender. Probably put them in a dry jar until we get enough. I don't know, I may just go put them around my tomato plants. Who knows? It's a good source. It's an amazing source of calcium. My tomatoes, I think I've showed you in some of my videos where the bottoms of them are rotting. They need calcium, so that's what we're gonna use this for. I have my 2 pans. I put the flour away a little prematurely. Back away. All right, we're adding in a cup of boiling water. I'm gonna do a half a cup at a time because, actually that's about 3/4 cup. And I'm gonna do another 1/4 cup. Let's give this a taste test. It's a little bit thin. It wasn't, but I'm thinking the boiling water. I almost feel like I could use a little bit more cocoa powder though, but I'm afraid to mess with it. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. And I'm gonna add a tiny bit more cocoa. Should I be doing this? I do not know, but I know I don't want it to taste bitter, but I want it to taste like chocolate. I think that did it. And it's a beautiful batter. All right, so here we go. We have our 2 pans. That is really good. Wow. Half the batter in one pan, half the batter in the other pan. All right. I don't know if you're supposed to do this. I've seen it done before, and so I'm going to do it, but I'm just gonna lift it and drop it and try to pop any air bubbles. I see some dry cocoa, so maybe I didn't blend it quite long enough. I really believe it's gonna be so good. I should have sprinkled the bottom of the pan with some sugar for a crunch. Ooh, that would have been good. These beauties are going in. I'm gonna set a timer for 30 to 35 minutes. I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes and then we'll check it and then we'll come back if it needs 5 more minutes. We'll just keep checking it till it looks good and done. So when it comes out of the oven, we're gonna put it on cooling racks, let it cool for 10 minutes. And no, I'm sorry. Well, I'm still gonna put it on cooling rack for 10 minutes in the pan and then invert them onto cooling racks is what it says. So let them cool in the pan and then invert the pan onto cooling racks and let them fully cool before any icing goes on. So that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna have to make a quick trip to Walmart because this recipe calls for Cool Whip and I have no Cool Whip. So I could look up how to make homemade Cool Whip. I know how to make homemade whipped cream. I bet that would be even better. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Hang tight. Okay, that is our 30-minute timer going off. Comes out clean. These babies are done. I'm just gonna check the second. Clean. Okay, I need to invest in another cooling rack. This is what I have for today. I'm just going to slide these onto this rack. Hopefully they will both fit. And I'm gonna let them sit here for 10 minutes and cool like the directions said. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna flip them out. Hopefully they're gonna come out without any issues. Oh my goodness. I cannot tell you how excited I am. Actually my husband and I together attempted a homemade cake a couple of years ago and it was incredibly dense. It was just, we didn't try another one. So this is exciting because the batter, so good. So if the cake is as good as the batter, we are in good shape. I've also seen some videos of people who pre-make their own, just for convenience, make some cake mixes. And if this is as good as the batter, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put several, probably quart jars together of all the dry ingredients and then just put the directions on some paper and put them down in there as far as what to add regarding the wet ingredients. It's beautiful. All right, so these have been cooling a little more than 10 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is put them on this plate. Look at that. I'm actually gonna twist this over. Wow. I'm not even 100% sure what to say, but then wow. All right, so what I'm gonna do at this point, I have to run to the store and get some heavy cream for the whipped cream. I'm gonna let that stay upside down for the time being. I'm taking a straw and poke some holes. All right, so there we go. I put about half of the can. I'm saving half for the top. The cake is baked, it is cooled. We've got the first layer of the sweet condensed milk on. I'll let this sit here and kind of soak in. I'm gonna run to the store and get my heavy cream, and I'm gonna get my Heath bar topping. And when I get back, I'm debating on whether or not just putting the top on right now, but I think I wanna put some icing in the center or the whipped cream in the center. So I think I'm gonna hold off. I'll be back and we will finish this up. It's going to be beautiful. All right, friends, we are back. I got some heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna have to look up a quick recipe because I've made homemade whipped cream one other time, but I don't remember if I used just regular granulated sugar or if I used powdered sugar. So I'm gonna look up a recipe because I do not wanna mess this up. But regardless, I know that we are whipping up heavy cream. So I'm going to pour in. I'm gonna do this entire 1 quart because I wanna be sure to have enough, and I hope that this is enough. Maybe I should have gotten 2. But I want to have some for the center between the 2 cakes and then plenty to go all around the cake. We're going to pour the entire thing in. We're going to turn it on. And we're going to find a recipe. I got the homemade vanilla out one more time. Powdered sugar. Let me get some of that. It's heavy cream, powdered sugar, and vanilla. Let's see how much of each. It's thickening up in here. A half of a cup of powdered sugar is what we need. Actually, it's 1/2 of a cup of powdered sugar to 1 pint of heavy cream, but we did a quart, so I'm doubling this up. It calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. But we're gonna double that, so 2 teaspoons, but I'm just gonna eyeball it. We'll let that get really well incorporated, and then I'm gonna turn the speed up. The sweetened condensed milk has soaked in very well. Turning it up a little bit. I didn't realize I already had a bag open, and I opened another one. Hey, it's getting pretty. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting there. I'm gonna give it a little taste test. It's close. It's still a little soft. But I'm gonna try it. This is what it's looking like right now. It's pretty firm. I don't know. I'm probably just gonna leave it another minute or 2. That is delicious. We're gonna call it, and I think I almost got it a little close to butter. A little bit too much, but it's okay. It tastes amazing. And we're gonna make it work. Alright, so we are going to poke holes in the top layer, just like we did the bottom. You know, I've never been the best baker, and I really feel like it's not because I don't have the ability. I think anybody has the ability if you can follow directions, but I get really impatient, and I'm not a huge fan of direction following when it comes to cooking of any sort. Like, this is the first time I literally, and I actually didn't follow it step by step, because I added extra cocoa and extra salt. But as far as letting it cool the allotted time or even a little bit more, I see why that's called for. It's much easier to work with. When it's cool, the cake is kind of set up. It's not just crumbling apart. Who knew? All right, so the remainder of this sweetened condensed milk, we're gonna pour it right out. Actually, so frustrated that I over whipped this. I should have stopped it. You know what? I may keep whipping it. I hate to go back to Walmart. That I may keep whipping it and let it just turn into a sweet butter. It's just, it would be a sweet butter. Because I'm too far past and it's not gonna be good. And I've gone too far and I've taken all the steps to just let it not be right. I'll let you know how that turns out. While this is soaking in, I'm gonna run back to, we actually have a dollar store down the road a little bit closer to Walmart. I may run there and see if I can find heavy cream. Come back, try it again. I'm gonna pay a little bit closer attention to be sure I don't overwhip it and get it headed butter. Okay guys, we are back. I got an extra this time, just in case. I'm gonna add my whisk back to my KitchenAid. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add a splash or two of vanilla. Get them right in. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the heavy cream. I'm doing the whole quart. And I'm going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on and let it start moving around. I have 1/4 cup here. I'm gonna grab 4 of these. I sifted it last time, but my sister is in the dirty dishwasher right now, so I'm just putting it in. All right, I'm gonna return these. I'll be right back. All right, I'm gonna add just a pinch or 2 of salt. Not because the instructions called for it, because they did not, but I have a thing for sweet and salty. And if you're making something sweet, it's always good to add salt. I'm just gonna run around this because I did not sift in the powdered sugar and just make sure it's off of the sides. I'm gonna go 1 more minute. All right, so it looks really good. So I'm gonna turn it off. Check this out. That looks beautiful. I set a timer so I didn't overdo it this time. Look how beautiful that is. That's gorgeous. So there it is with all of the whipped cream. Now we're going to add some heat to the top. This is what makes it a heat cake. And there she is. Start to finish, Heath cake. It's a little bit crooked. See how it goes downhill right there? It's okay though. It's gonna taste delicious. All right, well, I've got a ton of things to do to get ready for this birthday party, so thank you for hanging out with me and keeping me company while we made this delicious cake. I will see you soon.